Welcome back, my friends, to the last day of the nugget. Today we'll focus on Ephesians chapter 6. In the first part of this chapter, Paul continues to address interpersonal relationships. Families are the basic building block of society. Communities that have good, wholesome, healthy families are safer. There's lower crime rates, less mental health issues and addictions, and usually progress better financially. So while it was very unusual to address parent-child relationships in Paul's time, it's clearly Spirit-inspired because God knows how important it is to have good families in our society. So children obeying their parents is important because they need to learn how to work under the authority of someone else. But verse 4 makes me smile because I remember thinking about this verse often as a teen, whenever I was mad at my parents, wishing I could remind them not to provoke their children to wrath. I often thought how unfair the Bible was to expect kids to obey their parents, but in my mind, parents forgot to read the part about not provoking their children. Now, I have my own children, and I'm sure they think the same thing about us as their parents. There's a trend now in the parenting world that more and more people are adopting. It's called gentle parenting, as opposed to fear parenting, whereby parents use empathy, respect, understanding, and boundaries as core factors in raising their children. It's pretty consistent with what Paul wrote about in the first century, which again is evidence of these epistles being inspired by the Spirit of God. Fear parenting, on the other hand, is all about getting children to obey through fear of punishment, and it doesn't consider the other part of not provoking children to wrath. I cannot stress enough how structurally important the parent-child relationship is. Broken, dysfunctional, or abusive relationships within the home are directly responsible for the way a child views God, for the way he or she will be able to interact with other church members, for the way that they will be able to form their own relationships with significant others, the way that they will parent their own children, and the list goes on and on. And I get it. No parent is going to be perfect, but there are mistakes and there are mistakes. Parents, it is your God-given responsibility to educate yourself about parenting in a godly way. Don't think that because you grew up in a family, that automatically qualifies you to be a parent. Thankfully, thanks to research, we know so much more about children and their brains and their development and what it is that they need. Ephesians 6 is also about spiritual warfare and the armor of God, but we've already covered that sufficiently last week. And so we come to the end of the quarter and the study of Ephesians. Don't forget to share with us what you liked about Ephesians 6 in the comment section below. We love hearing from you. Next week, we'll be starting a new topic, God's mission, my mission. I invite you to join your local Sabbath school this Sabbath to study the Word of God. God bless.